the uplands of the Absolute. And so we are treating text 14. Sarvam etat ritam manye yan mam vadasi keshava na hi te bhagavan vyaktim vidur deva na danavaha sarvam itaritam manye yanmam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidur deva na danavaha sarvam itaritam manye yamam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidur deva na danavaha sarvam itaritam manye yanmam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidur deva na danavaha. Somebody want to try? Sarvam itaritam manye yanmam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidu devana danavaha sarvamita manye yanmam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidu devana danavaha sarvamita manye yammam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidu devana danavaha sarvamita manye yammam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidu devana danavaha sarvamita manye yammam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidu devana danavaha sarvamita manye yammam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim Vidu Devanadhanava. Sarvam itaritam manye. Yammam vadasi Keshava. Nahite Bhagavan Vyaktim. Vidu Devanadhanava. Any more men want to try before we go to the ladies? Sarvamita Kritamanye Yammam Vadasi Keshava Nahite Bhagavam Vyaktim Vidu Devadadanama Sarvamita Kritamanye Yammam Vadasi Keshava Nahite Bhagavam Vyaktim Vidu Devadadanama. Ladies, Sarvamita Ritamanye Yammam Vadasi Keshava Nahite Bhagavam Vyaktim Vidu Devadadanama. Word for word translation. Sarvam, all. Itat, this. Ritam, truth. Manye, I accept. Yat, which. Mam, unto me. Vadasi, you tell. Keshava, O Krishna. Na, never. Ye, certainly. Te, your. Bhagavan, O personality of Godhead. Vyakti, revelation. Vidur, can know. Deva, the demigods. Na, no. Ganavir, the demons. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Plain Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagadguru Srila Ji. Translation. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Please repeat responsibly. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. So Prabhupada's purport. Arjuna, hearing, confirms that persons of faithless and demonic nature cannot understand Krishna. He is not known even by the demigods. So what to speak of the so-called scholars of this modern world? By the grace of the Supreme Lord, Arjuna has understood that the supreme truth is Krishna, and that he is the perfect one. One should therefore follow the path of Arjuna. He received the authority of Bhagavad Gita as described in the 4th chapter, The parampara system of disciplic succession for the understanding of Bhagavad Gita was lost. And therefore, Krishna re-established that disciplic succession with Arjuna because he considered Arjuna his intimate friend and a great devotee. Therefore, as stated in our introduction to Gita-upanishad, Bhagavad Gita should be understood in the parampara system. When the parampara system was lost, Arjuna was selected to rejuvenate it. The acceptance by Arjuna of all that Krishna says should be emulated. Then we can understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita. And then only can we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Jnana Timridasya Jnanan Jnanashalakaya Chakshuramalitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yukta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavam Sya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunastam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Sya Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Tirtha Swami Niti Namine Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Ashritatmane Shri Ghora Karuna Shakti Bhakti Tirtha Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvese Sasuyavadi Pasachade Satarini Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namini Gaura Twize Namaha. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Sahodito Gaudadaye Pushpavanto Chitra Sando Tamonudho Nityanando Vatutendur Vasuda Pranavala Baha Janaviri Jivita Pati Krishna Prema Prabhu Padmavati Sutta Srimam Sachirananda Purvajaha Bhavom Mata Jagat Rakta Rakta Gora Kele Varaha Advaitam Harinadvaita Racharyam Bhakti Shamshanat Bhaktavataram Itam Shamadvaita Acharya Ashraye Panchatattva Makam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Govindaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopita Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Jayatam Surato Pango Mama Mandirgati Marsarvaswa Padam Pujo Radha Mandana Mohano Divyar Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada Srimad Radhat Gara Simhastanustau Sri Sri Radha Srila Govinda Devo Prishyalivi Sevya Manos Marami Srimam Rasa Rasaram Vivam Sivata Tatastita Karastan Venuswanai Gopi Gopinata Sri Estunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavanishwari Brisha Banu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Sarvam itat ritam manye Yam mam vadasi keshava Nahite bhagavan vyaktim Vidur deva na danavaha. Oh Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Kam karoti vachalam pangam lagayate grim yarkre patamahat vande Shri Guru Dinantaranam Paramanam Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Akanda Mandala Kram Vyaptayina Chara Charam Tat Padam Dashitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. So everyone is welcome to today's Bhagavad Gita discussion. And today we are taking a verse from the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is entitled The Uplands of the Absolute. And in this verse, Arjuna is speaking. Oh Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. So our theme today is, it is very difficult to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The difficulty in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Two verses before this verse, Arjuna made a statement. And what did Arjuna say? He says, Param Brahma, Param Dharma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavam, Purusham Saswatam Divyam, Adidevam Ajam Vibhum, Ahustram Rishaya Sarve, Deva Rishir Narada Stata, Asito Devalo Vyasa, Swayam Chaiva Bravisi Me. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages, such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, confirm this truth about you. Now, you yourself are declaring it to me. So today's verse is like a continuation of this verse. It says, "Oh Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, oh Lord, can understand your personality." So, to understand the science of God is not at all a very easy task. Bahunam Janamanamante Gyanavam Mamprapadyande, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Bahunam. Bahunam means many, many births. Anta, ante, after many, many births, after many, many lives, one comes to the platform of accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So to understand the science of God is not so cheap. In fact, today's religions, today's spiritual activities do not touch the personality of Godhead. In other words, so much religion is going on, so much spiritual activity is going on, but a simple question is, who is God? Very simple question. Ask any religionist, ask any practitioner. My dear sir, you have been worshiping God from your childhood. You have been going to church, to the mosque, to the synagogue for many, many years. Now, can you tell me who is that Supreme Personality of Godhead you are worshiping? And you cannot get a very good answer because they do not know who is God. They do not know who is Krishna. In fact, the scriptures that they are using talks very little about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So how can they know? So, to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a very serious science. It is not based on sentiments. It is based on deep study of very advanced scriptures. One needs to study the scriptures under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master who has also studied from his own spiritual master. The science of God cannot be speculated. No. Just like the science of medicine or the science of engineering cannot be speculated. If you want to learn medical science, you want to become a medical doctor, you cannot just go to the market and buy a book, go to the bookshop and buy a book, sit at home, read the whole book, and then you open your own clinic. and then you start treating people. I'm sure very few patients will come to your clinic unless they don't know. If they don't know that you have not had any formal training from a bona fide, certified medical officer, professor, nobody will come to your clinic. Similarly, if you are an engineer, you have not gone to any engineering college, university, you haven't done any university course anywhere, but you just went to the market and just saw some engineering book, and you just bought it, and you just went home, and you sat down, and you tried to study it, and then you come out and say, I'm a structural engineer. I can design your building for you. Bring me a job. And if you go and give your job to such an engineer, the result is evident. The building will collapse on your family, or collapse on the people who are going to use the building, because he has no knowledge of structures. So therefore, to learn the science of engineering, to learn the science of medicine, you have to go to the college where we have certified professors by the government who have knowledge in the field, and they would teach you, examine you, grade you, and finally they will certify you as a medical officer or certify you as an engineer. And then you can go out there and you can practice, because you also learn from professionals. If material science, which is very simple, material science, anybody with some little intelligence, he can do it. Anybody. Even medicine, which they think it is for very intelligent people. Only in the third world that they subject the students to learn so many things. And so if you don't have a big brain, it's very difficult. In the advanced world, you just choose one area from the very beginning. You don't need to do so many courses. No, you just choose one area. And so it's very easy. It makes the profession very easy. Choose pediatrics, that is for children diseases, and just specialize in it all the way. Or you choose gynecology, women diseases, and just go into that field. Or you choose dentistry, things related to the teeth, and just specialize in that from the beginning. So it's very easy. In the third world countries, you have to study everything for 6 years. You study all the courses. You have to pass in all the courses. You have to do general medicine. You have to do pharmacology. You have to do gynecology. You have to do all the colleges for 6 years. And finally, after you graduate, then you now take one course and specialize. So it makes the medical study very difficult. It's the same thing with engineering. There are so many things you have to learn as a student of engineering. You have to learn physics, you have to learn mathematics, you have to learn this, you have to learn that, so many things, instead of just going to the field of your choice. So to learn a material science, we require a professor. To learn a material science, we need guides. What to speak of learning spiritual science? What to speak of learning the science of God? It's a very, very complex subject matter. But today's world, people have taken the matter so lightly. So very lightly, that anybody can just pick up a scripture from the market, just buy some Bible, just buy some Quran, just buy some scripture, go and sit in your corner, just read it as much as you can understand, and then go to the street and become a prophet and preach. No. Prabhupada is mentioning here in the purport that we must follow the footsteps of Arjuna. To understand the science of God, we must follow the footsteps of Arjuna. As described in the 4th chapter, the Parampara system of discipline succession for the understanding of Bhagavad Gita was lost. And therefore, Krishna established that discipline succession with Arjuna because he considered Arjuna his intimate friend and a great devotee. Then he went on to say that when the Parampara system was lost, Arjuna was selected to rejuvenate it. The acceptance by Arjuna of all that Krishna says should be emulated. Then we can understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita. And then only can we understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So here, Arjuna is saying that even the demigods, what to speak of the demons, they cannot even understand Krishna. In the first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vyasadeva, the author of the Vedic scriptures, he makes a very significant statement. He says, Tene Brahma Hirdaya Adi Kavaye Mohyanti Yat Surya Yaha. Tene Brahma Hirdaya Adi Kavaye Mohyanti Ya Surya Yaha. He said, Lord Brahma is the first living being in this universe. He was instructed by Krishna from within the heart, Hirdaya. Lord Brahma was alone in this universe when he was manifested from the lotus flower that sprouted on top of the navel of Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. And when Brahma was born, he was confused because he was surrounded by darkness. And so Brahma was running up and down trying to find his source, but that was very difficult for him. Until he heard the sound, tapa. And because of his great intelligence, Brahma understood that I cannot achieve anything in this dark world without performing tapasya. So immediately, Brahma settled down to meditate. He settled down to perform tapasya. And by performing that tapasya, by performing that meditation for thousands of years, he invoked the Lord in the heart. Krishna appeared within the heart of Brahma, and then he gave Brahma knowledge. He imparted knowledge unto Brahma. Tene Brahma Hirdaya Adi Kavaye. Adi Kavaye. He is the first student of Vedic knowledge. And then Srila Vyasadeva went on to say, Mohyanti Yat Surya Ya. He says the activities of the Lord is very bewildering for even the demigods. Surya means demigods. Mohyanti, very confusing, very bewildering. Even the demigods, even Brahma who received knowledge from Krishna, sometimes he is bewildered. Brahma performed austerities for thousands of years, and Krishna revealed from within his heart transcendental knowledge. But even then, sometimes Brahma becomes confused. It is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam that when Krishna appeared in this world 5,000 years ago to perform his numerous pastimes with his cowherd boy friends, Brahma was wondering whether this is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna will go out with the cowherd boys' friends to the pasturing grounds, and they will wrestle, they will play, they will do hide and seek game, they will do all kinds of things. And then when it's time for lunch, every child will bring out their lunch bag, they will bring out their food items, they will place them on leaves, and they will be eating. Sometimes Krishna will snatch a laddu from the mouth of one of his friends, and sometimes a friend will also snatch a bowl of yogurt from the mouth of Krishna. So they were having such intimate, wonderful, sweet exchanges. Brahma was in the clouds on his swan carrier, and he was watching what was happening in Vrindavan, how the cowherd boys and Krishna, they were interacting, how they were enjoying themselves. And Brahma shook his head and said, I doubt. This cannot be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How can my Supreme Lord, Govindam Adipurusham, the Supreme Lord I'm worshiping, how can he come down on this earth and sit down with these ordinary boys and be snatching food from their mouth? No, he cannot be the Supreme Lord. I must test him. Let me go and test this person they are calling the Supreme Lord. I want to ascertain whether it's the Supreme Lord. So what Brahma do? Brahma waited when Krishna went to bring some cows that had gone far away from the rest of the cows. Immediately, Brahma came down and stole all the cowherd boys and stole all the cows. And then he went and put them in a mountain cave and he covered it. And then he went and he stood somewhere watching to see what Krishna would do. What will happen to this boy that they are calling the Supreme Personality of Godhead? He wants to see what Krishna is. Is he actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Or he's just some little boy playing the role of the Supreme? Is he a real Bhagavan? Or he's just imitating? We will find out. So, when Krishna understood that Brahma had stolen the cowherd boys and had stolen the cows and had gone to hid them somewhere, Krishna simply smiled. Krishna smiled. He said, this four-headed Brahma, he doesn't know that I am his source. He doesn't know that there are many Brahmas with more heads than him. He doesn't know that this universe, that he is the supreme with four heads. There are bigger universes. Jai, Sister Radha Govinda ki, Jai. There are bigger universes with bigger Brahmas, with more heads, complicated heads. He doesn't know. That is why he's behaving like this. So immediately, Krishna manifested unlimited number of cowherd boys. And he manifested unlimited number of cows. Not only that, Krishna manifested unlimited universes. And inside the universes, he manifested unlimited planets. And then he manifested unlimited Brahmas, controlling the different universes that he manifested. Then on top of that, Krishna manifested unlimited spiritual planets. Brahma was confused. He was confused. What is he seeing? Is that little boy? I was thinking he's an ordinary boy. He is manifesting all this. So therefore, Brahma began to offer prayers. The 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 14 of the 10th canto, we see Brahma offering such deep prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One of the slokas, one of the prayers I very much like is this. Brahma says, Janata Eva Janatu Kim Bahuktia Name Prabhu Manaso Vapusu Vacha Vaibhaivam Tava Go Charaha. Brahma is saying, Janata Eva Janatu. That many people say we understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Janata, to understand, to know. Many people, many philosophers, many religionists, they claim that they understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he said, my dear Lord, but for me, let them say that. Let them claim that they understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As far as I am concerned, I have this to say. Kim Bahuk Name Prabhu. Manasa Vapusu Vacha. Let me say this much, that my mind, Manasa, my body, Vapusu, my words, Vacha, they are so limited. My mind is limited. My body limited. My words limited. I do not know very much about your supremacy. I do not have much knowledge about your supremacy, because I am so limited. You are so great, Prabhu. Prabhu means master. You are so great. You are so wonderful. You are so unlimited that my mind, my intelligence, my body, my words cannot understand the extent of your glories. Therefore, please accept my obeisances. So Brahma, the four-headed Brahma, who has great intelligence to create the planets in the universe, to create all the different bodies that we see, to create all the varieties, 8,400,000 different varieties of beings. Brahma created all of them. But still, Brahma is saying, my dear master, my mind, my body, my words, they are so limited that I cannot boast of understanding your glories. So if Brahma cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Prabhupada is saying, how can the mundane scholars, how can the tiny, insignificant philosophers, how can they understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead? They cannot. Indra is the king of heaven. Just like in every country, there is a president, a prime minister, or a head of state. In Swagaloka, in the heavenly planet, the king of the heavenly planet is Indra. Indra is a very exalted position. It is said that if one performs 100 horse sacrifices in this life, one can become Indra in the next life. In order to achieve that position of Indra, one has to perform 100 Aswamedha, 100 horse sacrifices. Of course, in this age, animal sacrifice is prohibited. So we cannot even perform animal sacrifice. But in the former ages, animal sacrifice was allowed. So if one could perform 100 horse sacrifices, one is qualified to become the next Indra. But mind you, Indra is not happy that somebody is going to take over his position. So he's always monitoring everyone in the universe. Who is that person who is performing so much austerity? Maybe he wants to take my position. Who is that person who is performing horse sacrifice? Maybe he wants to take my position. So Indra will frustrate anyone performing tapasya. Indra will frustrate anyone performing horse sacrifice. Prithu Maharaj performed 99 horse sacrifices, and Indra will not allow him to perform the 100th horse sacrifice. He constantly stole away the 100th horse. Constantly, he frustrated Prithu Maharaj. That Prithu Maharaj was so frustrated. Finally, Lord Brahma has to come and say, my dear Prithu, there is no need trying to equal Indra. Indra is the only one who has performed 100 horse sacrifices, and as a result, he's occupied that position, and therefore he doesn't want anybody else to come to that position. So he's thinking, now you want to perform the 100 horse sacrifices in order to displace him. So therefore, he will not allow you to do the 100 horse sacrifice. However, Brahma said, you are a great personality. You are an incarnation of the Lord. You are in an exalted position even more than Indra. So don't worry about Indra. Whether you perform 100 horse sacrifices or 99 horse sacrifices, you are superior to Indra. So don't worry about him. It is not 100th horse that will make a difference. The difference is already clear. So you forget about Indra. And then he also talked to Indra. What you are doing is not good. You are frustrating this man. He is not after your position. So this way, Brahma created unity between Indra and Prithu Maharaj. So Indra has performed 100 horse sacrifices, and as a result, he has occupied that position. He is the king of heaven. But even in his position as a king of heaven, he cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Krishna appeared in Vrindavan and told the Brijabasis they should stop Indra Puja, they were doing Indra Puja every year because they are farmers, because they are cowherd men. They always needed rain for the grass to grow, for their farms, for their crops. So every year, they would do Indra Puja. So when Krishna came to Vrindavan, he told his parents, his father, Nanda Maharaj, and the members of the community that they should stop worshipping Indra. They should stop this Indra Puja. Indra became infuriated. Indra became very angry. Who is this small, talkative boy telling the Brijabasis they should not worship me anymore? They should not do Indra Puja anymore. This is nonsense. I am going to punish the Brijabasis, and I'm going to show them that they have made a mistake by following that small boy, Krishna. So, what did Indra do? Indra summoned all his heavy clouds over Vrindavan and ordered them to pour rain like water, pillars of water over Vrindavan for 1 week, 7 days, 7 nights, non-stop. He wanted to drown all the residents of Vrindavan. He wanted to commit a maha aparat. He wanted to kill all these devotees in Vrindavan because they did not honor him. Because they did not offer him puja. And so what did Krishna do? Krishna showed Indra that he's a non-entity. He's nobody. Krishna simply picked up a hill that is called the Govardhan Hill. The hill is still there now in Vrindavan. If you go to Vrindavan, the hill is 14 miles long. Krishna picked it up with his left hand and put it on his small finger, like this, like a mushroom. He picked up this 14-mile mountain and put it on his small finger and kept it in the air and said, oh, all my devotees, all the Brajavasis, come along with all your animals and live under this hill. It will serve as a shelter for the 7 days and 7 nights. And then Krishna, he ordered his Sudarshan Chakra to circumambulate the hill and dry up all the water that was pouring, the rain that Indra was pouring. The Sudarshan Chakra was evaporating all of them. And then underneath the hill, Krishna made perfect arrangement, very beautiful arrangement, cool, nice, warm, festive. So everyone was enjoying the association of Krishna under the hill. Indra was laboring very hard, trying to flood the whole Vrindavan with water. And the chakra was taking care of the water. And Indra was sweating, and he was not getting any result. Meanwhile, the Brajavasis, they were enjoying with Krishna under Govardhan Hill for 7 days and 7 nights. Finally, Indra came to his senses. He realized, this small boy, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I better go and beg forgiveness. I've offended him, and I've offended all the Brajavasis. I've offended all the devotees here. I better go. And he thought, if I go alone, Krishna will not forgive me. If I go alone, Krishna will not even look at me. If I go, he will not even listen to me. Let me find somebody who is very dear to Krishna and let him go ahead and beg Krishna first. So Indra, he went to Surabhi. Surabhi, these are the special cows because Krishna is Govinda. He is the protector of cows. He takes care of the cows. He takes care of the census. He takes care of the brahmanas. Krishna is known as Govinda. That is his specialty. Taking care of cows, taking care of brahmanas, taking care of the census. So, Indra understood that let me go with Surabhi. If Surabhi, because the cows are very dear to Krishna, if Krishna see a cow praying to him, if Krishna see a cow offering prayers to him, he will listen. But if I go, Krishna will neglect me. So he sent Surabhi first to go and offer prayers to Krishna. And as Surabhi went and started offering prayers to Krishna and started talking to Krishna, and Krishna turned to Surabhi and started listening to Surabhi, and then all of a sudden, Indra appeared and Surabhi apologized on behalf of Indra. Only then did Krishna accept the apologies of Indra. So even Indra, the king of heaven, he cannot understand Krishna. When Krishna went to the heavenly planet with Satyabhama, and Satyabhama saw a parijata flower, Satyabhama said, oh, my dear husband, this flower is very nice. I like it. So can you give me one flower? And Krishna said, why only one flower? I will give you a whole tree. So Krishna immediately uprooted one tree and said, take it. You cannot come to the heavenly planet and go only a flower. You can take the whole tree. What happened? Indra was angry. He said, Krishna, you can't do that. I won't allow you. You cannot take this tree to the earthly planet. No, it's not allowed there. These are trees of the heavens. And you are coming to take it to the earthly planet. I won't allow it. And there was a war. Indra waged war against the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what happened? He was defeated. Krishna defeated him and took the flower and came to Dwarka with it. So even Indra, he cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even Lord Shiva is said to be the most exalted personality. But sometimes Lord Shiva is bewildered. When the demigods and the demons, they churned the ocean of milk. Very nice story in the 8th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The demigods and the demons churned the ocean of milk. They entered into a truce. They entered into an agreement because there was so much war between the demigods and the demons. But finally, they entered into a truce. Then let us churn this ocean of milk. Some nectar will come out of it, and we shall share the nectar. And when we drink the nectar, we shall become immortal. So the demigods and the demons, they agreed. Under the advice of Lord Narayan. So they came to churn the ocean. Of course, it was very difficult for them because they could not even get a big rod to churn the ocean of milk. So they had to, Lord Vishnu said, go and bring Mandana mountain. So they went, the demigods and the demons went to lift the Mandana mountain. It was so heavy that when they lifted it, it fell on some of them and smashed some of them. So they were afraid, they ran away. So Lord Vishnu went with Garuda and lifted up the Mandana mountain, put it on the shoulders of Garuda. He brought it to the ocean of milk and dumped it there and said, now you can use it. So, and then they didn't have any big rope enough to churn. Krishna ordered Vasuki to come, and then he became the rope. So the demons were holding the mouth of Vasuki, and the demigods were holding the tail of Vasuki. And then they were churning the middle of the ocean. But again, the Mandana mountain was sinking because there's no support. It was sinking in the ocean of milk. And so they were frustrated. The whole mountain is going down. Going down, they can't do anything about it. So their efforts were frustrated. So they had to cry to Lord Narayan, please do something. So Narayan said, okay, I know what to do. Immediately, the Lord expanded himself as Kurma Avatar. Kurma Avatar. Kurma means tortoise. Immediately, the Lord appeared as a tortoise incarnation. He went under the mountain and supported the mountain. He became the pivot or the pivot where the mountain rested upon. And then, because the Lord supported the mountain, they were now able to churn. And as they churned, so many different things came out of that ocean. Wonderful things came out. Ochai Shriva, even Lakshmi Devi came from there. Apsaras came from there. So many wonderful things came from there. Beautiful, wonderful things. And they shared it among different personalities. But that was just a side effect. What they really wanted was the nectar, Amrita. That's what they wanted. So, but Lord Narayan did not want the demons to take the nectar. Krishna did not want the demons to drink the nectar, because if they drink the nectar and become immortal, they'll be in trouble. So, when Dhanvantari appeared with the nectar, the demons were very smart. Demons are always smart. They immediately took the nectar and began to run with it. So Lord Narayan has to figure out what to do. So immediately he took the form of Mohini Murti, a very beautiful, attractive form of the Lord. When the Lord becomes a woman, he's the most attractive. In fact, when people see the form of Krishna, they see the picture of Krishna, they often attribute him to a female. They will say, where from this beautiful woman? Where from this beautiful girl? Many times people ask that question. Because of the beauty of Krishna, they think Krishna is a woman. And they don't know that he's a source of all beauty. He's a source of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. Everything is coming from Krishna. The beauty that we see in this world is coming from Krishna. So therefore, he's the ocean of everything. So when Krishna decides to incarnate as a woman, you can imagine the beauty. She was so beautiful. And what was the purpose? To lure the demons. Because the demons have snatched the kumbha, the pot with the amrita, the nectar, and they were running away. And so the demons wanted to take away the nectar and deprive the demigods of the nectar. So Krishna has incarnated as Mohini Murti. And he said, hey, stop. Give me the nectar. I want to distribute it equally to everybody. And they were so captivated by seeing this beautiful form of the Lord, Mohini Murti. So captivating. Demons are always attracted to beautiful women. Demons are always attracted to sex life. So therefore, immediately they surrendered the pot of nectar to Mohini Murti. They gave him. And Mohini Murti said, all right, whatever, if you want to drink this nectar, whatever instruction I give, you obey. If you don't obey, you will not get the nectar. And say, yes, we are ready. We will obey. So he said, all right, demigod, sit on this line. Demons, sit on this line. And they all sat in different lines. Because he's a Supreme Lord, appearing in the form of a lady. He had a mission. His mission was to cheat the demons. So, Mohini Murti, when he goes to the demons, he would give them water to drink. And then when he goes to demigods, he will give them the nectar to drink. So like this. But he did it in such a way that the demons did not even see. They didn't see that he was offering them ordinary water and was offering the demigods nectar. But Rahu saw that this Mohini Murti, he is cheating us. He's not giving us the nectar. When he gives the nectar, he takes it from a particular pot. And when he comes to our side, he manifests a different pot, which contains water he's giving us. So he got up and secretly went to the demigod side, and he joined the demigods so that he can get the nectar. Anyway, the point there is that Lord Shiva was not present when all these things were happening. So when he heard the story, how Mohini Murti, the beauty of Mohini Murti, had defeated the demons, Lord Shiva desired to see that beautiful form. Lord Shiva said, I've never seen this form that was able to captivate the attention of the demons and the demigods. I also want to see that form. So, desiring to see that form, he invited his wife. He rode his bull carrier, and he went towards the place where the distribution of the nectar is going on. And so the Lord understood that Lord Shiva wanted to see his form, his female form, his beautiful form. So immediately the Lord appeared before Lord Shiva in this Mohini Murti form. And when Lord Shiva saw this Mohini Murti form, he lost control. He immediately forgot himself. His wife was nearby, but Lord Shiva forgot that his wife was nearby. He was interested in this beautiful form of the Lord. He started running after this beautiful form of the Lord. And Lord Shiva started discharging semen just by seeing the beautiful form of this lady. So the Bhagavatam says that the semen of Lord Shiva, that became gold. The gold that we are mining actually is the semen of Lord Shiva, that he was running after this Mohini Murti in different places and was discharging this semen, and that entered into the earth, and that became gold. So anytime we are mining gold, we should know that is Lord Shiva's semen. So the point here is, even Lord Shiva, great personality, he cannot understand the supreme personality of Godhead. It is mentioned also in the 12th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam that Narayan Rishi, when Narayan Rishi, the son of Dharmaraj, appeared in this well, he wanted to perform austerities for the benefit of the well. So Nara Narayan Rishi, they are in the Himalayas. Even today, Nara Narayan Rishi is an incarnation of Lord Narayan and Arjuna. Krishna and Arjuna, they are in the Himalayas. And those devotees who are very exalted, they are able to have darshan of Nara Narayan Rishi in the Himalayas, at Badrinath. If you go there now, there is a temple of Badrinath, and the deities of Nara Narayan Rishi is there. But you can go beyond Badrinath, and you can actually have darshan of Nara Narayan Rishi. So, Nara Narayan Rishi, they are performing austerities since their appearance for the benefit of the whole world. They are performing austerities for the welfare of all living entities on this planet. But again, Lord Indra is thinking that why is this Nara Narayan Rishi performing such severe austerities? Does he want to take my position? So therefore, Lord Indra sent the demigoddesses. He sent the ladies from heaven to go and tempt Nara Narayan Rishi. He sent Kamadeva. Kamadeva is in charge of lust. He sent him with the demigoddesses, the ladies. They should go and tempt Nara Narayan Rishi so that he would give up his austerities, he would become attracted to the beauty of the demigoddesses. He will give up his austerity, he will fall down, and he will stop all these severe austerities. So Kamadev, the goddess of love, he led the group of demigoddesses, very beautiful demigoddesses. Prabhupada says, if you see the beauty of the women of heaven, you would spit at the most beautiful ladies of the earthly planet. He actually said, when you see the beauty of the heavens, the ladies of this planet look like frogs. Prabhupada said like that. He said like that. They're the most beautiful women of this world. If you compare them to the beauties of the heavenly planet, they don't come near. So these beauty queens were sent with Kamadev. Kamadev is the goddess of love, or the god of love, to go and induce Nara Narayan Rishi to give up his austerities and become attracted to these women. But when Kamadev was issuing arrows, Nara Narayan Rishi was counteracting all the arrows. And what is more, Nara Narayan Rishi manifested some beautiful ladies, much more beautiful than the goddesses of heaven. He manifested beautiful nymphs, beautiful queens that were 100 times superior, 1,000 times superior to the goddesses of heaven. And when Kamadev saw this, when the queens of heaven saw this, they were embarrassed. And so they began to offer obeisances to Nara Narayan Rishi. And Nara Narayan Rishi told them, it is not your fault. It is the fault of Indra. Indra is thinking that because I'm performing these austerities, I am coming to take his position. No, I am performing these austerities for the benefit of all living entities in this world. So, to perform devotional service, we need to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even demigods, they do not understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What to speak of the demons? Devotional service means understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned, it is said, Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Prema Tattva, Sara. Bhava Tattva, Lila Tattva, Nam Tattva, Ara. That to understand devotional service, we need to understand the truth of Krishna, Krishna Tattva. We need to understand the truth of Krishna Tattva, Bhakti, Bhakti Tattva. We need to understand the truth of Bhakti, Bhakti Tattva. We need to understand Prema Tattva, the truth of love of Godhead. We need to understand that. Bhava Tattva, we need to understand the emotional truth about love of Godhead. Lila Tattva, we need to understand the truth of the pastimes of the Lord. All these truths. And the Nam Tattva, the name, the truth of the holy name of the Lord. We need to understand all these aspects of devotional service. But that can only be understood when we follow in the footsteps of great devotees like Arjuna. Arjuna, Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna because he was a friend of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he was a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unless you become friends of Krishna, unless you become devotees of Krishna, it is very difficult to understand the absolute personality of Godhead. If demigods cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, exalted demigods, then what is our qualification in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So the science of Krishna is very difficult. But Krishna says, Bhaktyamam abhijanate yavan yaschasmi tatvataha. That by the process of bhakti, I can be known. So if we want to know Krishna, then we must engage in this bhakti. And bhakti means Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Prema Tattva, Bhava Tattva, Lila Tattva, Nam Tattva. We must understand these 6 tattvas. Who is Krishna? What is Bhakti? What is Prema? What is Bhava? What is Lila? And what is Nam? So that is what we need to learn. And that is why Srila Prabhupada is mentioning we have to follow the footsteps of Arjuna. We have to accept a spiritual master. We have to associate with the advanced devotees, and then we can hear from them, we can learn from them how to practice bhakti, how to understand the tattva of bhakti, and then we can come to the understanding of the science of God. That is what this process of bhakti is all about. Time is far gone. We have 15 more minutes. So if there are any questions or comments, you're most welcome. Hare Krishna. Yes, Dr. Amega. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for your very elaborating lectures.
Thank you.
I have 2 questions.
You're welcome.
So many questions that comes to my mind regarding to the pastimes of the Lord, but I'll ask 2 main important questions. First of all, isn't that it looks like with the Hare Krishnas, today, all the modern scholars, all the scientists, isn't that we talk against them because it looks like hypocrisy. Let me put it this way. We try to lambast them, but when we're in a difficulty, for example, when a devotee is sick, we go to these doctors to be cured. Even these machines we are using, they are the modern scientists who made them and we are using it, but we don't give them the credit. So far, I'd like to know, is it a hypocrisy or is it me that not understanding this aspect of the kind of preaching that we do? Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. First and foremost is that because they do not give credit to the supreme scientists. That is why Srila Prabhupada lambasts them. Because before the scientists, before this material science, all the laws of the universe are there. Talk of the law of gravity. Is it yesterday the law of gravity became manifest? No. Science, modern science, is not more than 200 years old. Gravity, the law of gravity is not more than 200 years old. Gravity has been there from the very beginning of creation. Actually, gravity is coming from Anantasesha. Anantasesha is supporting all the universes on his head. And he's giving them the force because they're rotating. And that force keeps everything intact. The plane flies and does not go into space. He comes back and lands because of the force of gravity. So, the principle of engineering is based on the principle of gravity. All engineering activities are based on gravity. You cannot design anything in this world without considering the principle of gravity. Even when you design buildings, tall buildings, you must factor in the force of gravity because the gravity is going to be pulling your materials. So therefore, the laws and principles of science has been there from time immemorial, from the very beginning of creation. When Isaac Newton discovered the principles of motion, he only discovered they were there even before Isaac Newton was born. He was only lying under a tree and a fruit fell. I started thinking, why has this fruit fallen? Something must have attracted it. Something must have pulled it. And he began to think. And then he came out with the laws of motion. But those laws of motion have been there. Talk about photosynthesis. From time immemorial, the sun has been shining. And photosynthesis has been taking place in the leaves to produce flowers and fruits. From time immemorial, even before modern science. Our bodies, talk about all the biochemistry. The biochemistry that is going on in our bodies. It has been going on from time immemorial before modern medical sciences. Read Bhagavad Gita chapter 15. Krishna says, I entered the stomach of the living entity and I became the fire of digestion. If you read chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives very interesting points there. 14? Yes, thank you. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Asritaha Pranapana Samyuktaha Pachami Anam Chatuvidam. I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the four kinds of foodstuff from time immemorial. Now we go into biochemistry and we give all kinds of analysis. But even before the science of biochemistry came, that was already going on. Cell chemistry has been going on from time immemorial. Even here, in text 13, Krishna says, Gam avishya cha bhutani darayami aham o jasaha pushnami choso disarva samo bhutva rasa makaha. He says, I enter into each planet, and by my energy, they stay in orbit. By my energy, they stay in orbit. I become the moon, and thereby supply the juice of life to the vegetables. So when you taste your soup, your vegetable soup, boko boko, alefu, and all the rest of them, you enjoy the taste. That is Krishna. Krishna he takes the form of the moon, and he enters the vegetables to give it taste for us to enjoy our akule with it. Krishna is there. So here Krishna is telling us that he is the greatest scientist. That is all that I want to say. Krishna is the greatest scientist from time immemorial. from the very beginning of creation. And the scientists, they should acknowledge that. If they acknowledge that, yes, the ingredients that we are using for our materials, for our manufacturing, for our engineering, is actually supplied by Krishna. Where did they get the iron from? Did they manufacture the iron from the air? No. Where did they get the plastic from? Where did they get all the materials? It's the natural materials that Krishna gave, that they are using to manufacture all these things. You cannot manufacture a car without metal. You cannot run your car without fuel, without diesel. You cannot do all these things without depending on nature. So therefore, the original engineer is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And if they would give that honor to the Supreme Lord, they would take cognizance. They would say, oh, Supreme Lord, you are the Supreme Engineer. We recognize that. Immediately, they would take their proper position. So Prabhupada, these questions have been asked of Srila Prabhupada before. He said, we are not against science. Prabhupada said, we are not against science. We are scientists. Krishna is a scientist. He's a supreme scientist. We are not against science. We are only against their demonic mentality, not recognizing the Supreme Lord who has given them all the raw materials for their science. So if they accept that Krishna is the supreme scientist and he has provided the materials for their science, we will worship them. We would accept them. But in as much as they deny the original engineer, we will also deny their position. That's all that we are doing. We have nothing against them. They are doing their best. We are using their knowledge to propagate Krishna consciousness. Look, we are broadcasting what is going on all over the whole world. People can see. That is the greatness of science.
So in that way, they will get some devotional credit.
Yes, definitely.
Credit.
Those who have manufactured these things, they will get some credit, definitely. But they should recognize that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he has provided all this material.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Please, if time permits me, my second question. It has to do with, Srila Prabhupada mentioned somewhere in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Hiranyakashipu's plan to become immortal.
Yes.
Whenever there is a natural disaster, it seems like there is a demon born in that particular area. I know of Nepal, suburb of India, those parts where we call holy dam, holy places. But day in, day out, there are a series of earthquakes. So I would like to know, is it that Ghana here, demons are not born here, but why the place we call holy dam, holy places, why is the demons are being born there more than where we assume that demons are supposed to be born? That's my second question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Demons are everywhere. Actually, this material world is for demons. We are also demons, in one sense. Now we are trying to become devotees. But this material world is called Drugadam. Drugadam means a prison house for those who are refusing to accept the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why we are here. The material world is for the rebellious souls, those living entities who do not want to be subjected. They don't want to surrender. They don't want to take a subordinate position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are thrown into the material world. The material world is very vast. It's very great. It is said that this universe, our universe, is the smallest. But even the diameter of this universe is 4 billion miles. The diameter of this universe is 4 billion miles. And it's said to be the smallest universe. There are other bigger universes. Huge, huge, huge universes. So you can imagine the material creation is huge. 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 With living entities, unlimited living entities. But we have to understand that this is a fraction of God's creation. It is, the material world is called Tripada. Is that right? Tripada. The spiritual world is actually called Tripada, and this is Chatuspada. It's 1/4 of the entire creation. The spiritual world is tripada, is 3/4 of the entire creation. And the material world is 1/4 of the entire creation. So even though we have all these big, big universes, but all of them combined is said to be 1/4 of Krishna's creation. We cannot even estimate the spiritual creation. We are only talking about the material creation. But this material creation, full of living entities, they are all rebellious souls who have been thrown into this material world because we don't want to take the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the material world is actually meant for demonic people. But by the mercy of the Lord and his devotees, they come into this demonic well, they come into this prison house, and they canvas. They give the scripture, they give the knowledge, and they canvas. And those living entities that are a bit intelligent, bit pious, they listen, and then they become devotees, and they get out. So demons are everywhere. Anyone who does not accept the Supreme Lord, anyone who does not accept the laws of God, anyone who is opposed to Krishna, to God, is a demon. Simple. Demigods means they are ready to submit themselves to the Supreme. They are ready to take the orders of the Supreme. That makes them Surya or demigods. Demigod means they are surrendered souls to the Lord. Demons means they are not ready to surrender to the Supreme Lord. They are not ready to accept his authority. They are against the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the position of the demons. So this material world is actually meant for demons. But somehow or the other, by Krishna's grace, by the devotee's grace, Krishna consciousness has been introduced. And so there are some people who want to go back. They want to get out of this hellish situation and go back home, back to Godhead. So demons are everywhere. But the fact is, the holy places, they are having more trouble than other places. Why? Because it is said that one who is given so much is expected from him. One who is given so much, he has more responsibility. So the Holy Lands, many a times we hear that there's so much trouble in India, so much misery in India, so much difficulty in India. And people are wondering, why should there be so much problem in India? Why should there be calamities in holy places? So the answer is that because people of these places, they have the great opportunity of becoming servants of the Lord, of becoming devotees of the Lord, but they are refusing. They are turning their back onto the process of bhakti. And therefore, they are neglecting the process of bhakti. And so, because they are refusing to practice bhakti and share bhakti, they are put in a position where they have an advantage to practice bhakti and share bhakti, but they are refusing. Therefore, there is a reaction to that. And the reaction to that is calamities. When you have the responsibility, when you have an additional advantage, it becomes your responsibility to share that advantage, to help others also benefit from that advantage. But if you don't, you are liable to be punished, or you are punishable. So therefore, these holy places, people are turning away from the process of bhakti. They are giving up the process of bhakti, and they are taking to materialism. And therefore, there is serious reaction because they have the opportunity, they have the knowledge, they have the scriptures, they have the holy places, they have the sadhus. Even till today, if you go to the Himalayas, you'll see a lot of yogis and a lot of saintly people. They have all these advantages, but people are turning away from the science of God, from the practice of bhakti. And therefore, naturally, there is bound to be some reaction. And that reaction comes in the form of calamities, in the form of earthquakes, in the form of disasters, in the form of famine. So many other things happen. So it is because they have an advantage over the rest of the world, but they are not taking advantage of that advantage, and therefore they have to pay for it in the form of suffering. So similarly, it applies to us. When we have an advantage to spread this Krishna consciousness, to practice this Krishna consciousness, and we are not doing it, we should also expect some calamity. Yes. Whoever much is given, much is expected. That is the fact. We have been given this wonderful knowledge, this wonderful process of Krishna consciousness. It behooves on us to also extend ourselves to give it to others. If we don't, then we are also attracting some punishment, because whoever much is given, much is expected. I hope your question is answered. Hare Krishna. So many hands. Hare Prabhuji. Okay, the microphone is there. Let's hear from you once you have the microphone. Yes,
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes, Prabhu.
Please, my question has got to do with Lord Brahma being captivated by the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord.
Yes.
In the Srimad Bhagavatam, I've forgotten the precise canto, but I think it's the advent of Lord Krishna before his birth on earth. It's narrated that Mother Brumi, being disturbed by the atrocities going on the earth, with the demigods went to offer prayers to Lord Krishna and ask him to come and reinstall the religion that is going on earth. And I'm sure Lord Brahma was part.
He was a leader.
So how soon could he have forgotten the Supreme Lord took birth on earth? It is even narrated that he instructed them the particular dynasty in which they are to take birth before his coming. So how possible that the same Lord Brahma could forget so soon and come down to test Krishna?
Yes, that is interesting. Thank you for your question. That is very interesting. Brahma was a person who led the demigods to the ocean of milk. And he was a person who relayed the information to Vishnu and received the information from Vishnu and broadcast it to the demigods. He was playing all this role. So there's no question of Brahmanda knowing that the Supreme Lord is coming. He knew. Then the question is, then why was he confused? Why did he not recognize that that supreme person he went and talked to in the milk ocean has taken this form? So the answer is, Krishna is an amazing person. Krishna's energies are amazing. Even sometimes, Krishna himself, he wonders how his energies are working. Sometimes, Krishna himself, he wonders how his own energies are working. So if Krishna is wondering about his own energies, then you must know that Brahma is nobody. He can be affected. So, you see, the pastimes of Krishna are very, very bewildering. Actually, Kunti, in her prayer to Lord Krishna, in the 8th chapter of the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Queen Kunti says that, my dear Lord, your activities are so bewildering. That they are so bewildering that it's very difficult to understand you. He said, even great sages, Paramahamsas, sometimes they get confused about you. What to speak of us, women, who are less intelligent. Kunti was making that prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So Krishna is a very bewildering personality that sometimes his own energy bewilders him. sometimes. His own beauty, his own activities bewilders him, as if he's not in control. But that's just to tell you that the Lord's energies are unlimited, the Lord's potency unlimited, and they kept expanding, they kept increasing, that even sometimes the Lord himself is wondering, is it coming from me? Is this my own doing? He's wondering like this. Therefore, Brahma, Shiva, Indra, they get confused and they lose their thinking capacity. So Brahma, he forgot. He couldn't understand when he saw the cowhead boy Krishna snatching food from the mouth. Actually, he said Krishna was even eating with his left hand. That bewildered Brahma. He said, how can the Supreme Personality of Godhead, my Supreme Lord I'm worshiping, Govinda Madipurusham, how can he eat with his left hand? This is not acceptable. This is not, it is not, he's an uncultured boy. How can this be the Supreme Lord? He cannot be. I'm going to test him and see. So, Krishna's activities are beyond Brahman's mind. That is what he admitted. They are beyond my mind. They are beyond my body. They are beyond my words. I cannot understand you. So that is the truth. Krishna cannot be easily understood. He's beyond the minds of the demigods, and he's beyond the minds of the demons. Only the devotees that Krishna can reveal himself to some degree, actually. Nobody can understand Krishna perfectly. No one. Even the greatest of devotees, they can't understand Krishna perfectly. They can only understand Krishna to the level of their devotion, to the level of revelation Krishna gives them. But nobody can understand Krishna in totality. Even Krishna himself, sometimes he's wondering about his own activities, his own energies. So what to speak of demigods and demons. So Brahma also gets confused because Krishna's activities are beyond his comprehension. Yes, you have the microphone.
Well, I thank you. Arjuna, we heard that Arjuna told Krishna that he should wind his, effulgence, that effulgence around so that he can see him. And Srila Prabhupada also saying that only devotees can penetrate the effulgence to his abode to enjoy with Krishna and cowherd boys. But those Indra, those demigods, they are outside, plus the demon. Why is it that Krishna placed the demon and the demigods all together in one side? Because demigods are administrations of Krishna. As you said that they are, want to surrender to Krishna. Why is it that they place the demon and the demigods in that outside like a hell? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. I think we'll close the classes. My time is already gone. So this is my last question. The pujaris are looking at me and they're wondering why I'm still keeping the time going. So actually, it is said in previous ages, the demigods have their own planets and the demons have their own planets. The demigods are supposed to live in the Swaga planets. Swaga Loka. That is for the demigods. And then the demons, they live in Bilaswaga, the lower heavens, beyond hellish planets. There are some subterranean heavenly planets there. The demons are living there. So it is said that in Satya Yuga, the demigods, they live in their own planets, and the demons live in their own planets. But as the yugas progress, in Treta Yuga, it is said that in the beginning, demigods live in their own universes, demons live in their own universes. But with time, the demigods and the demons are within the same universe, but the demigods are living in their own planet, and the demons are living in their own planets. But as time progresses, now the demons and the demigods, they live together in one planet. And as time progresses, the demons and the demigods, they live together in one city. And as time progresses, now the demigods and the demons, they live together in one body. So even inside this, our body, Bhakti Tita Maharaj said there are two dogs. He said there are two dogs, a black dog and a white dog. They are always fighting for supremacy. We have the positive side and we have the negative side. And they are always fighting for supremacy. And depending on which of the dogs we are feeding, that becomes the predominant dog. If you feed the negative dog, then we will do a lot of negative things. And we think that is all right. If we feed the positive dog, then we do a lot of positive things. And that is okay. So one dog represents the demon, one dog represents the demigods. Those two dogs are living within our body. And so sometimes we are thinking negatively, and sometimes we are thinking positively. So we are being influenced by the demons or the demigods within our body. So it's due to the degradation of the age that now the demons and the demigods are now together in one place. Before, they were separated. They even have their own universe, and the demigods have their own universe. But because of deterioration, now they are in the same universe, and even further than that, now they live in the same city, and even further than that, now they live in the same body. But if we take to the holy name of Krishna, if we take to the process of bhakti, if we become more serious with our japa, we can gradually diminish the presence of the demonic dog. We can practically expel the demonic aspect from our side, and we can become completely divine. That is the special mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to drive away the demonic dogs from our bodies, from our minds, and establish devotional service in our bodies, in our minds. So that is the special gift Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has brought to us. He wants to drive away the demonic dog, drive away the demonic influence, drive away what is not needed, and establish Krishna Bhakti in our minds, in our hearts. And simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra seriously every day, at least every one of us should take the japa very, very seriously. In fact, the number one activity that we should all do is chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Anyone who is chanting the Maha Mantra on daily basis, guaranteed, you will get Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Guaranteed, you're going back home back to Godhead is established. Guaranteed that the spiritual world is your goal. That is what Mahaprabhu has given us. Anybody who is chanting Hare Krishna, it means you are reducing your life in the material world. You are terminating your existence in the material world. You are opening your gate to the spiritual world. That is what it means when we chant Hare Krishna every day. And for those who are already initiated or expecting initiation, aspiring for initiation, it is expected that we should chant at least 16 rounds a day. Minimum 16. We can do more than that. If we are able to do this, Srila Prabhupada says, if a devotee chants 16 rounds a day and follow the 4 basic rules and regulations, guaranteed, I will take him back home, back to Godhead. So the challenge is ours. How to diminish this negative, demonic quality that is within us. Mahaprabhu has given us the process. He has given us the answer. And we only need to practice it. And the result will come. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Radha Govinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.